What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Okay, another one of these week things. I believe I will definitely make one on the week WWE and PG soon. I really wanted to make that one for a while. It looks like I'm going to make it real soon. And you guys really liked the plane ride from hell in the week WWF became WWE one. I mean, rightfully so. I mixed in both stories because they occurred within the same week and it was successful. Okay, right now, let's just get straight into it. The week Ruthless Aggression era officially began. Okay, the story of WWE around this time is well known. Austin and Rock were leaving, Triple H had an awkward run as a good guy, The Undertaker was on a roll, the roster was divided into two, the NWO was there and it was completely off, Trish Stratus started to gain some steam as an in-ring performer, and that's just basically the climate of 2002 WWE. They realized that they needed to make new stars, so they called up a bunch of guys from OVW. The product at the time, well, it depends on your perspective, but looking back, I like it. It was fun and full of ridiculous stuff. I will say, though, that this is the worst match of all time, and I will definitely talk about it very, very soon. Just to let you know, guys, this was the June 24th and 27th, 2002 episodes of Raw and Smackdown. Once again, I'm not covering everything. I'm just covering the stuff that I believe is notable, basically. So don't expect me to cover everything. Okay, Raw started off with the entire roster lined up on the ring apron. Then Vince McMahon came out, and his reasoning for all of this, well, he thought it was time to give back to the roster. He wanted to give them advice on how to become stars, and the advice? It was ruthless aggression. The crowd was chanting, "Asshole, asshole," so damn loud. He was bragging about his accomplishments, and D'Lo was disturbed. He attributed all of these accomplishments that he had to ruthless aggression. Vince then went up to a bunch of stars and he let every one of them know that that one single ingredient is the key to success. He praised Brock Lesnar for the ruthless aggression he dished out the previous night at King of the Ring, and he then went up to RVD and asked him if it bothers him that Lesnar's got ruthless aggression. He then went up to Bubba Ray and booked him in a matchup against Eddie Guerrero. McMahon then went up to Jeff Hardy and he booked him in a matchup against The Undertaker. Then all of a sudden the NWO decided to come out and Shawn Michaels let Vin Man, yeah, he used to call him that a lot, know that he's got no bigger stars than the New World Order. HBK and the rest of the guys informed Vince of their services like, "If you want us to take out the trash, then we will have no problem doing so." Nash then made a joke about the roster telling them the main event WrestleMania, then give him a shout out, and Booker then entered the ring and called the NWO below. Goldust then chimed in and he called himself and Booker boys, homies, and he said that they're practically married. Booker was annoyed by Goldie's statements and he challenged any of the members of the NWO to a matchup. Vince refused to book the matchup between HBK and Booker as Shawn Michaels is an icon. He's the man that possesses that one quality, ruthless aggression, and it won't be Kevin Nash. Maybe soon, but for now, Big Daddy Cool still got to recover from an injury. Oh, and Vince threatened to fire him if he didn't live up to expectations. As for Big Daddy Cool's response, well, there it is. Vince once again let the roster know that if they want it, then just take it. Cesaro. Vince and Booker played a game of snatching the mic, and the boss booked Big Show and X-Pac in a matchup against Goldust and Booker T. Booker T then called Vince a sucker, and that's the segment. Basically, Vince was like, if you want it, reach for it. Just grab it. But we all know how that turned out. I don't know why this segment occurred. Maybe because Austin and Rock were leaving. Austin left. And he believed that these guys were capable of becoming stars. I'm not even sure, to be honest. Later that night, Vince was about to mess around with Jackie Gayda, winner of Tough Enough Season 2. But then The Undertaker barged into the room and he had this look on his face like, again? The Undisputed Champion complained about The Rock nearly costing him the title the previous night and he demanded a match against him. But since Rock wasn't available, Vince gave Taker Jeff Hardy. Then after the commercial break, the match between Bubba Ray and Eddie Guerrero was about to begin. Now for some reason, Bubba brought out a table and he promised someone's going through it. Eddie though wasn't phased one bit, and Latino Heat wasn't pleased with Bubba interfering in his match the previous night against Ric Flair, and he was fuming. He called himself the brightest star on Raw before walking to the ring. They went straight at it in the beginning, and it was just a fight, lefts and rights from Bubba. He had the advantage for a bit before Eddie all of a sudden rolled up Bubba, and this got him the victory. He then took a page out of Dudley's book and he brought out the table. Once Latino Heat turned around, well, he got slammed through it. Chris Benoit then ran down there and all of a sudden he locked Bubba Ray Dudley in the crippler crossface. Now, why did Benoit and Guerrero do all of this? Well, they wanted to show the boss some ruthless aggression. It's clear as day. Following this match, they showed a vignette of Rey Mysterio, and I didn't realize they promoted his arrival. To be honest, I just thought they announced it a week beforehand, but they were trying to show that this guy is a pretty big deal. Rey Mysterio Jr., by the way. Then Goldust was messing around backstage. He was trying to play games with the NWO, and Big Show was taking a nap, and all of a sudden, X-Pac exits the bathroom only to find Goldust speaking about crocodiles and whatnot. And Goldust is standing there and he just randomly calls X-Pac a bandana wearing rat. This thing was revealed to be a ruse, and Goldust led him to Booker T's locker room where he was on the receiving end of a trash can lid. Seriously, that segment was bizarre, but it was kind of funny. The next match was between Tommy Dreamer and Raven, and the loser of this match leaves Raw. At this point, both men weren't doing much, especially Raven, and for a second, I forgot these two feuded with each other in ECW. Like, the way they were booked in ECW, you wouldn't think it's the two same guys. In the first seconds, it was all Raven. Dreamer struggled initially, but he managed to deliver a couple of rights and a power slam to bounce back. The crowd was really silent, and the two men weren't able to get them screaming. They went back and forth with neck breakers, inverted DDTs before Dreamer hit a Death Valley driver to win the match. The second the bell rung, it was the loudest the crowd had been during the match. Dreamer was happy to drink people's spit and do more disgusting things, and as for Raven, he was escorted right out of the arena. When he reached the parking lot, Matt Hardy was waiting. A little context: Raven had handcuffed Jeff to the ropes the previous week, and the Undertaker assaulted his brother, hence the attack. Matt attacked him, and Raven was really stressed out over the situation. Now it was time for the coronation of the 2002 King of the Ring winner, Brock Lesnar. Now watching this, I see Heyman hasn't changed that much. He rambled on about how Lesnar's great, how he had the craving to win the tournament, and how Lesnar's great. Oh, and I forget how Lesnar's great and how he's winning the title at SummerSlam. And as he was speaking, Rob Van Dam ruined the ceremony. He attacked Brock and sent him right out of the ring. Heyman then went up to Vince and he complained about this, and he demanded that RVD defend his Intercontinental Championship against Brock Lesnar. Vince made the match, and Heyman was over the moon. The next match was between Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker. Now, a little context: Jeff had shoved Taker into Tommy Dreamer's vomit, and no, I'm not making this up, that actually happened. Then the Hardys jumped Taker, and after the Undisputed Champion assaulted Jeff the previous week, this was the moment they finally got to face off. As for the match, The Undertaker just wanted to get at it as he wasn't in a good mood. He was hitting power moves. As for Hardy, he was wise. He used his quickness to his advantage. Taker, though, caught him and hit a choke slam on the outside for wrapping it up with the last ride. This match lasted for like 2.5 minutes or something like that. That's all. Taker then rode on his bike, and all of a sudden, a broken Jeff Hardy, no pun intended, grabbed the mic and said he wasn't done. He demanded an undisputed title match against The Undertaker, and not just a regular match. He wanted a ladder match. Taker considered it for a few seconds, and he accepted. By the way, if you want that one, check out this video. Damn, look at the layout of WWE.com. Later that night, Brock and Heyman went up to RVD and shouted at him. Heyman was shouting, "Yo!" And all of a sudden, Lesnar told him to shut the hell up. Brock then promised to show ruthless aggression in the main event. Next up, Big Show and X-Pac of the NWO against Booker T and Goldust. Oh, and Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash are barred from ringside. Nash threatened to kick both men out of the group if they lose, and Shopaponamus, that's what Goldust called him, and bandana wearing rat, or exactly in a great mood. Booker T at this point was pretty over, and so was Goldust, but Booker, like, it was different. He had this main event tangible to him. In the beginning, Big Show overpowered Booker. The 5-time WCW champion struggled to adapt initially, but his explosive rights and lefts and chops worked out for him. He ran into a textbook reversal, though, and X-Pac was tagged in. Once X-Pac was in the ring, Booker was on the offense. He delivered a forearm and a heel kick, and it was X-Pac at this point who was struggling. Goldust attempted the Bronco Buster. There was inverted atomic drops, clotheslines. He utilized the element of surprise to a T, but then Big Show surprised him by slamming him down to the mat. Once Big Show was tagged in, the complexion of the match changed. He tagged in X-Pac again, and now 1-2-3 Kid was punishing Goldust. He was trying to make a comeback, but he ran straight into a spinning heel kick. At this point, story of the match: isolate Goldust. Say it with me: isolate Goldust. And it was clearly working out for him. It took X-Pac attempting a Bronco Buster for Goldust to finally tag in Booker. He hit the comeback sequence, and he delivered a vicious kick to the Big Show. He performed the scissors kick. Now it was time to showboat. Spinneroonie. X-Pac got a spine buster, and Goldust and Booker double teamed Big Show. At this point, Goldust was looking to kick Show in the jewels, but he ran straight into a chokeslam, and the NWO won this match. Now, what cost Goldust and Booker the match was the lack of chemistry. They had some of it, but in the end, Booker was attacking X-Pac on the outside, and he left Goldust exposed to the Big Show. Oh no, it was probably the best match of the night so far. Yeah, it's the best match from what I've watched so far. Now it was main event time. Brock Lesnar and Rob Van Dam for the Intercontinental Championship. Now at this point, RVD was hella over. He was really connecting with the crowd, and it seemed like it was only a matter of time before he captured the world title. Lesnar went straight at it using his brute strength. Van Dam relied on his aerial abilities. He sent Lesnar to the outside, but this would end up biting RVD as Lesnar caught him in midair and threw him spine first into the steel post. The crowd at this point was loudly chanting, RVD. RVD, and Brock was working on him. He was catching him and throwing him and slamming him with backbreakers and body slams and a bunch of power moves. At one point, the fans were chanting, Goldberg, Goldberg. Lesnar hit a belly-to-belly overthrow, and at this point, RVD just couldn't get into it. He was on the receiving end of several belly-to-bellies and just basic power moves. He struggled, but he fought back. Sure, it didn't work initially, but he was resilient. No matter what move Lesnar went for, RVD was still in the match. He started to make a comeback, and he made Lesnar look like an idiot. He continued to outsmart him, and he went for the Rolling Thunder, the handspring moonsault, wherever the hell it was called. And the next big thing at this point, well, he was somewhere else. Heyman then got involved and Lesnar grabbed RVD from out of nowhere. Van Dam, though, showed off his experience and he escaped and connected with those educated feet. Boom! Split-legged moonsault. But then Heyman interfered to cause the DQ. This attack on RVD wouldn't be successful as Van Dam would hit a Van Daminator on Lesnar and he delivered a spinning heel kick to Paul Heyman before connecting with the 5-star frog splash. Lesnar, though, wasn't done. He slammed RVD on the ground and damn did that hurt. He then grabbed him and powerbombed him through the announce table, and so Raw ended with Lesnar on top. Overall, from what I watched, I liked it. Oh yeah, and the NWO thing is just bizarre in itself. But overall, what I watched, I liked it. Now it was time for Smackdown. The June 27th episode emanated from the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois. The marquee matchup for this night was Hollywood Hogan against Chris Jericho. In the ring, Vince McMahon was standing. Why? Well, we're about to find out. The reason why he was out here was to introduce Kurt Angle, the same man who made Hogan tap out at King of the Ring. Now, I don't even understand this. Like, Kurt Angle's the biggest joke and the biggest wrestler in ring. Like, how can he be a joke yet a legitimate threat to anyone on the roster? Anyways, Angle bragged about his victories for a bit and he let the fans know that they suck. He asked the fans if they find it funny that he's bald and they were cheering when all of a sudden he was like, screw it, and he revealed his bald head. He didn't give a damn what the fans thought, and as the fans were laughing, he asked if it was funny when he made Hogan tap out. Just like that, all was forgotten. Like, he deflected all of those jokes the fans were making about him being bald to Hulk Hogan. So basically, you would think Angle was bald his entire career at this point. But at the moment, Angle is here to issue a challenge to anyone he's never faced to come down here and face him. He gave them the chance to come out here and become a star. Oh, and he'll take it easy on them. But then suddenly, this guy came out. Who in the hell is this? Angle's like, who in the hell are you? The rookie responded with his name, John Cena, and Angle popped the $1 million question. What is the one quality that you possess that makes you think you could come out here into the ring and face the very best in the business? Cena's response, you guys know it, ruthless aggression before slapping the hell out of Kurt Angle to start off the match. John Cena went straight at it. Angle was getting a beating, clotheslines, rights, splashes, and as for Kurt Angle's game plan, he was looking for the ankle lock. Cena had him scouted though, and Angle bounced back with a couple of Germans. Now, it was time to pick apart the rookie. He was taking John Cena to school, hitting power slams, wearing him down. But this wouldn't even lead to much as Cena, it felt like he was a step ahead of Angle. He was catching Angle off guard and he was on the cusp of victory. So many damn near falls, and it's Angle who's getting his ass kicked at this point. He utilized the cover to his advantage because sooner or later, Angle wasn't going to kick out. He spammed the cover. Like I said, Cena at this point was spamming the cover. He believed that sooner or later, Angle wasn't going to kick out. The crowd was really enjoying the match and they certainly believed that Cena had a chance. But then, Angle put Cena's shoulders down to the mat to win. He barely won this one, and it was because of a rookie mistake. Cena put his hand out there, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? As for Angle, it seemed like he was getting scammed or something, as you can see here. He blew him off and walked right the hell out of there. And it was a fun and memorable match. The way it transpired, it made Cena look like a potential superstar. He pushed him to the limit. Backstage, a couple of SmackDown superstars were praising Cena's performance when the undisputed champion, The Undertaker, appeared. Taker put his hand out there and Cena shook it. I mean, this was another thing that put him over. The Undertaker at this point was still a heel, so it was weird seeing him give respect to a rookie. I mean, you guys all know what he did to Maven about a few months earlier. Later on, Lance Storm was set to face Mark Henry. At this point, it felt like WWE wanted to push Lance Storm, but they didn't because he didn't show much character, I guess. But yeah, if he did show like an intensity like Chris Benoit, just Chris Benoit, I believe they would have pushed him. As for Mark Henry, he was back on TV after winning the Arnold Strongman Challenge. At this point, he was doing pretty good outside of WWE. Vince was hell-bent on making good on the Mark Henry investment. Like, he signed him to $1 million contract in 96, I believe, and at this point, it was a bit underwhelming. Like, Henry wasn't delivering as they expected him to. But now he's back on TV. He was showing off his strength, engaging in some power challenges, the car thing I remember. And as for this match, Henry was all over Storm. He had to resort to biting Henry in order to get some offense. This didn't even work for him, and the world's strongest man hit the world's strongest slam. He went up to the top rope, but Lance Storm moved out of the way, and Henry was on the receiving end of a missile dropkick. Lance Storm then hit a super kick, and this got him the victory. To be honest, I didn't think much of this match. It ended just as quick as it started. Now it was time for The Undertaker to come out here. He said that no one can lay claim to the title undisputed champion. No one. He complained about The Rock interfering in his match at King of the Ring, and he promised that on July 11th, the night The Rock was going to return, he's going to beat The Rock down and make him pay forever for sticking his nose in his business. Kurt Angle then interrupted and he made fun of The Undertaker for talking a lot. Angle's like, you talk blah 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 blah, and Taker responded by calling Angle a punk. He laid out the challenge. Kurt Angle, by the way, The Undertaker versus Kurt Angle for the title next week. Since Big Evil was a fighting champion, he accepted. As a matter of fact, he wanted to do it right now. Angle made a couple of excuses, and Taker made fun of him, stating that he almost lost to a rookie. The champion's motto, anytime, anywhere, anyhow, so the match was on. Angle, though, at the moment, he wanted to touch the title. He just wanted the title to be in his hands. Taker allowed Kurt Angle to touch the title because that's as close, in his eyes, that Angle's ever going to get to the title. Angle threw the title on The Undertaker's face, and he attempted to lock him in the ankle lock. He locked him in for 2 seconds, but he literally let go and ran away. Like, Angle had him in the hold for 2 seconds, and he decided to let go and run away. It's as simple as that. Next up was Test and Rikishi. At this point, Test couldn't be fired. He won a battle royal a year ago, and Rikishi was just there. Rikishi and Test went straight at it, right to left, belly to belly, and this was basically it until Test hit a body slam. Rikishi bounced back with a super kick, and now it was time for the Banzai drop, but Test put his knees up and he hit a clothesline to send Rikishi inside out. Seriously, I love the way Rikishi sells those clotheslines. He does this weird ass flip. It just looks so cool to see. Test complained about the 2 count to the referee, and he threatened to punch the ref. Once Test turned around, Rikishi shoved him into the ref, but he bounced back with a big boot. He went for the cover, but the ref called for the DQ, and Rikishi was victorious. Test believed he wasn't in the wrong, and he shoved the referee. Rikishi, though, did the stink face, but then Christian and Lance Storm came out. Now, the trio believed that this was an injustice, and they believed Americans were prejudiced against them. As you all know, this was the beginning of the Un-Americans, so that's why I had to mention all this. Meanwhile, Chris Jericho was proud of his actions towards Edge. Now, what Jericho did, well, he attacked Edge and left him sidelined. He teased taking out Hogan just like he did to Edge, and at this point, Jericho was kind of falling down the card, unfortunately. Later on, Deacon, Batista, no longer Deacon, made his debut, teaming up with Devon, Reverend Devon, against Farouk and Randy Orton. Yup, Randy Orton. Batista had already made his debut beforehand, but this was his first matchup on Smackdown. Randy Orton showed off some of that natural third-generation talent he had. Devon was delivering drop kicks and reverse elbows, and all the commentary team were talking about in the beginning was Batista's size. And damn, no pun intended, that frog splash crossbody looks so damn awesome. Orton continued to showcase his athleticism when Batista finally entered the ring. He clotheslined the hell out of Orton and he really stood out. He had a vicious spinebuster to win the match. Now, looking back, it's clear why they pushed Batista. It may have took him a few years to improve his in-ring ability, but it was a good decision. I mean, this guy had the look of a superstar to him. And the main event, Hollywood Hogan against Chris Jericho. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is the fact that they dubbed over Hogan's theme song. Like, it just doesn't match the original at all. Also, why the hell is Hogan's website called redandYellow.com? The Rock has a website, it's called TheRock.com. Stone Cold had a website, StoneCold.com. Why not just HulkHogan.com? Oh, yeah, it might be because of the licensing rights. Why not just call it HollywoodHogan.com? Anyways, he posed for a while before Y2J finally made his entrance. Jericho was hell-bent on punishing Hollywood Hogan just like he did to Edge beforehand. He ambushed Hogan right out of the gate, and a little reminder of this, and I just gotta remind you guys of something. You guys know about that time Jericho, cursed out the internet for, trashing his match? It happened the same week. Chris Jericho went off on some internet critics after reading a review from Pro Wrestling Torch, and it was just so damn hilarious. The match in question was the RVD match at King of the Ring, and to be honest, in my opinion, it wasn't even that bad. But Jericho got so worked up over the critics' opinion that he quit posting on that site for over a year. That's what I heard. Anyways, in the beginning, Jericho was all over Hogan, but his arrogance led to Hogan's comeback. Y2J, though, he relied on cheating. The ref turned his back and boom, he delivered a low blow. He was showboating, and as for Hogan, he had the fans on his side, and he was pretty resilient. Jericho continued to cheat to win, and he kind of had him scouted. So all was good for Y2J, but then Hollywood Hogan began hulking up, and he just couldn't stop him. Y2J, though, managed to roll out of the ring after receiving a boot, and he brought in a chair, and he blasted Hogan right in the face to cause the DQ. He was looking to destroy Hulkamania when his music played all of a sudden. So the countdown thing is going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then all of a sudden we see Edge. He kicked Jericho's ass. Whenever he tried exiting the ring, Hogan threw him right back in. Edge ended the assault with a spear to end Smackdown on top with Hollywood Hogan. That's a story for another day. And yeah, that's the week the Ruthless Aggression era officially began. Some guys in storyline sees the opportunity like John Cena, Batista, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, in a way, Brock Lesnar, they all seized the opportunity. Not much happened in general, but like I said, those are the things that stood out. McMahon's promo, John Cena's debut, Batista's in-ring debut, and yeah, that's it. That's it for this video. Make sure you hit a F5 on the like button, and perhaps a spear on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.